What's going on, guys? BouseFeenux here, and today I wanted to do something a little different and take a break from the guides and news type videos that I usually do. I've always been kind of enamored with the video essay type content that's so popular on YouTube nowadays, and last night, at the time of this video, I had reached over 270 gameplay hours in Monster Hunter. I've completed every optional and assigned quest, I've reached Hunter Rank 100, and I want to share my experience with you guys in this format and just lay out some of my thoughts on the game so far now that I've really dug into it and pretty much experienced a little of everything it has to offer up to this point. So I think it's safe to say here that I've dedicated myself to the game, and with that being said, I'd like to take the opportunity to talk about what Monster Hunter does right as opposed to what we're seeing so much of nowadays in the larger gaming world. But before all that, let's start with my background as a Monster Hunter. I was born in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite on the PSP. Back then, there was no monster lock-on or targeting system, armors were separated into two different classes, one for Blade Master and one for ranged. Autocraft was unheard of, and the slinger didn't even exist. We had bombs that we had to throw manually like savages. Can you even imagine that? But it was fun. I loved Freedom Unite despite all of its quirks and strange difficulty, and I loved it so much, in fact, that Monster Hunter became the standard that I compared all other action RPGs to. I actually started playing Dark Souls because it looked like the closest thing to a Monster Hunter game I could get on PC at the time. Fast forward to last year, and I rejoined the Monster Hunter franchise with Monster Hunter Generations. This was kind of a spin-off game made between 4 Ultimate and Monster Hunter World. It didn't have as much content as 4U, but that didn't stop me from putting over 300 hours into it. But now we have Monster Hunter World, the culmination of over 10 years of game design and formula tweaking. And like any video game, there are small bugs and minor things here and there, but they are very few and far between. Monster Hunter World is probably the most polished AAA game I've ever played, and the fact that it's Capcom's best-selling game ever in just a little over a month speaks volumes to that. My point here is that watching this game evolve over the years and seeing a game franchise build on what works and having the community behind them every step of the way while taking their input to heart isn't something you see very often anymore. All too commonly, we have these games that come out that are designed to produce a steady stream of income, and they get so caught up in chasing those microtransactions that oftentimes they actually forget to provide a worthwhile gameplay experience. I mean, sit and think about it. We got a full game with untold hours of content and more on the way coming soon as free DLC for $60 and no season passes. Not once during my playtime did I have to open up my wallet to buy a loot box, premium currency, item, or get some kind of booster to bypass the grind. How rare is that in today's world of gaming? It's almost unheard of, and doubly so for a AAA title. And when you distill Monster Hunter World's gameplay down, it's just you, your skill as a hunter, the monster you're facing, and the grind that you're willing to go through. And even then, the game is designed in such a way that you can even mitigate the RNG of the grind to an extent by how you play. For example, if you need a specific monster's wings or tail, you can increase your chances of getting them by focusing on that monster part and breaking it. Now, that being said, monster gem drop rates and decent decoration drop rates suck at the moment, but those are essentially powerful in-game items, and with golden tickets, we can even guarantee ourselves a gem at least once a week. In any other game, you'd have a golden ticket pack that costs $15 a pop, and on top of that, useless gems can be recycled for a chance at better ones, so there are systems in place to help reward you for your time spent in the game. They don't just treat you like a cash cow. Considering all that, these features alone set Monster Hunter apart from the sea of games that are out today. The game can't be manipulated with real money. You can't open your wallet and get an armor set. Everything has to be earned, and in an era of gaming where everything feels like a slot machine, Monster Hunter is like a shining jewel in the oasis. It's a pure game that relies on skill and dedication to proceed. When you get that armor set, or that tier 8 weapon, people will know that you've worked for it. So in essence, Monster Hunter won't reward players for what's in their wallets, for how many premium currency packs you've bought, or for how many random loot boxes you've opened, and it doesn't stretch itself thin trying to implement hidden systems that slow game progression to a snail's pace while trying to hide the fact that there's a lack of content. It rewards you for growing as a hunter, working with others to achieve a common goal, and for learning the game and playing smart. It's a pure experience that stays true to itself from start to finish, and in this day and age where most games pose as little more than a casino, it's refreshing to see a game by a major publisher stick to these values and come out on top by selling more than 7 million units in its first month. In closing, I'd like to say that I hope the gaming world at large takes note of Monster Hunter World's success. We don't need to be inundated with microtransactions and loot boxes as players. Monster Hunter World is an honest game that gives me hope for the gaming industry's future, but with that being said, it's not over. There is still more content to experience, with Devil Joe expected to be released this Friday, March 9th, and more monsters to follow after that. So stay tuned to the channel by subscribing if you haven't already, so that you don't miss my continuing Monster Hunter coverage as this game continues to evolve. Until next time, though, I'm BouseFeenux. I'll see you at the next one, and as always, thank you so much for watching.